sum and difference formula problems. Hit answer sheet for sum and difference formula problems. Answer sheet for sum and difference formula problems. Now, let's look what I did here, and then I'm going to do something else where I don't have it on there yet. Look at the first assignment you got back. It was 5, 6, 7, then it was 3, 4, 5, 8. The first assignment was 5, 6, 7. Now, look on the answer sheet, and I said this the other day. These were the ones with the special angles, just plugging them into the formulas. You see the three answers for 5, 6, and 7? They look very similar, don't they? See the answers? And I told you that. Some of the signs are different, so it's not the same answer, but they are similar. So I want you to check what you got there for 5, 6, and 7. Because this would be like the first part of a test whenever I do this. We're not done yet with these formulas. You obviously got to know your special angles to do these. Swipe to the next page. Then, this is still the same assignment. It was 3, 4, 5, and 8. You see how I have a little mark next to it? You see where it says page 209? See how I have a little line on 3, 4, and 5? Now, 3 and 4, again, you see the answers? Very similar again. Number 5. That's the one I did on the board yesterday, and I told you maybe you should take a picture, and I think most of you did. But there's that number 5 that I was doing on the board. And if you swipe to the next page, there's the rest of it, where you times by the conjugate. I had that on the board yesterday. And then there's number 8. So that's the first assignment. Does anyone need to ask me anything on those? I mean, it looked like you did okay with that. The only one I saw a lot of mistakes on was that number 5. That's why I had it on the board yesterday for you. Okay, swipe to the next page. Now, this is the second assignment. Page 203, 47, and 49. Now, when you did these, page 203, it said find the cosine of s plus t and the cosine of s minus t. Now, look, you've got to pay attention here. On the answer sheet I posted, I just found one of them. Do you see that? You were supposed to find both of them, but it's similar. Just look at 47, for example. You see how I first had to do either the 1 minus sine squared or the 1 minus cosine squared. Now, fellas, look at the answer sheet. You see where it says sine squared equal 24/25? And I took the square root of 24 over 5, which pull up, 2 square root of 6 over 5. I hope you're doing that correctly. You've been doing that kind of all year. You take square roots. And then when I plugged it into the formula, I want you to notice, you can see 4/25, but see 2 square root of 6 over 5 times 3/5? Do you all see that that's 6 square root of 6 over 25 when you just multiply? And then when you make the one fraction, you can't add those two things together on the top. Do you see that? I had that on the board the other day. Who got that one right in here? Who got 47 right? See where it says 4 plus 6? And then 49, I just did cosine of s minus t. And those fractions were all nice. And then I just did the multiplying, I combined, I got negative 56 over 65 for 49, for the cosine of s minus t. David?
Do you know what the answers are for the other ones?
I don't have them here, but I'll get them for you tomorrow. Because here's what I did. I don't have any more answers there. The other part of the assignment was right here. I just put them up here for you to see the answers. I'm gonna give you these tomorrow. I'll scan them to eBackpack for you. But just for now, in 41 and 42, I just said do part A. But in 45, I said do part A and part B. Those are the answers. Just, no. If you didn't get some of those, you might want to mark it down on your paper next to it. I'll make sure you get this tomorrow, where they're all worked out. I don't have them on there right now. But does anyone need to ask me a question here so far? You sure? That was all sum and difference formulas. Because now I'm going to the next thing today. Okay, for now that's good. Then take your notebook out. Take your notebook out. Take your notebook out. All right. You could just put your iPad aside for now. You'll need it later in the period. Thursday, January 12th. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do here. Write this down. Just bear with me. Watch what I'm going to do. Get off your iPads right now. You don't need them. Go in your notebook. Go. Thursday, January 12th. Write down this. Now, have that study sheet out with the formulas on it again that we've been working with. Have that out. This should not take the whole period, what I'm going to do, so cooperate here. Somebody. Isn't this the cosine of a sum? But what's kind of different about this? The two things I'm putting in there are identical. It says the cosine of theta plus theta. Now, just, there's your u, there's your v. Somebody, please, raise your hand, look at your study sheet. Use the formula for the cosine of a u plus a v, and somebody tell me what that's going to be there. Plug them in. Now look, when you do this, the u and the v are both the same thing. It's a theta and theta every time. You don't know what I mean? You got your study sheet there. It's the third one, cosine of u plus v. I want somebody to give me what it equals using what's here. Ethan.
Cosine theta times cosine theta minus sine theta times sine theta.
Do you see that? Simplify what you see. Something. Joe.
Cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta.
Now, what I'm starting to give you today, you can just kind of go off to the side, are double angle formulas. This is what today's class is. Double angle formulas. Because watch what I'm going to do here. What's theta plus theta if I said atom? That's an easy question.
Theta squared.
No, you're adding.
2 theta.
2 theta, right? So the cosine of theta plus theta, I could say, is the cosine of 2 theta. Pay attention. Cosine of 2 theta. And what did we just find that it equaled? Someone just give it back to me. It's on the board. What did we just find that the cosine of 2 theta equals? We just did it over here. Tim, you with me? Wake up, buddy. All right. What does it equal?
Cosine squared theta minus sine.
This. Now, there's your first double angle formula. Remember, when you eventually take the test, and again, I got to keep telling you guys, as I've been telling you every day, you know, there might not be another test this quarter. There may be next week. I don't know it yet. I got to see how the next few days go. I will let you know as soon as I know that for sure. What's the matter?
Wait, so with the theta, like, If the theta was like a 2, then the answer would still be cosine.
No, hold on. Just hold what you're asking me right now. Let me finish this first. I just showed you how I got that. By doing it, by saying theta plus theta, doing the summer difference, and it came down to this. So the cosine of a double angle equals this. Now, I'm gonna come right here, because there's two alternate forms of that. Now, my God, if there's anything you know from identities, it's the one I told you comes up more than anything. What could I put in for cosine squared that means the same thing? Using that identity, sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, which you guys have been seeing in here for weeks now. What could I replace cosine squared with? There was a problem on the test that you took on proven identities where you had to do this. It was one of the problems on the test. Jimmy.
Sine, 1 minus sine squared.
Isn't cosine squared 1 minus sine squared? So just watch what I'm going to do here. And now bring this down. Cosine squared is this, right? So what does that simplify to? What does that simplify to? Just reduce, add like terms. How?
1 minus 2 sine squared theta.
Okay, now come over here, because this is the important part. An alternate form of that double angle formula, and you just showed it here, is this. 1 minus 2 sine squared. Now, do you see what I'm showing you? This one came out of this one, just using the identity. Okay, now watch this. What could I put in for the sine squared if I wanted to? It would mean the same thing. I think you see what I'm going to do here. Adam.
1 minus cosine squared.
Okay, now watch this. Now, see this minus sign that comes down here? What am I going to have to draw in there after that minus sign? Very important. Can't leave it out. Because it's minus that whole thing. Jack? That's right. So sine squared is 1 minus cosine squared. Okay, now if you got a minus sign in front, don't you got to flip those signs? So who can tell me what this is going to be? This is another alternate form. Just flip these signs and then add like terms. Put the positive one first when you do it. This isn't that hard what I'm asking you to do. Flip signs and then add like terms, but put the positive one first. David.
Would it be cosine squared theta?
Add like terms.
Oh, so 2 cosine squared
Here,
theta
wait a
minus
minute,
1.
Dave. Let me just do this. Flip the signs. And then what did you just say?
2 cosine squared theta minus 1.
That's another alternate form over here for a double angle. Fellas, when you take the test on this, whenever it is, remember what I told you about the formulas? You're going to have the formulas. Okay? What's the matter? Yes. Okay, so there's the double angle formulas for cosine. Now, if you're sitting there going, I'll get to the example in a minute. Well, which one are we supposed to use? Honestly, doesn't matter. You want to do what's easiest. I'll show you an example in a second here. Now, here's the double angle formula for sine. I'm just going to give it to you. Over here, I showed you how I was getting them. I'm just going to give it to you. Here's the double angle formula for sine. 2 sine of theta, cosine of theta. That's it. That's the double angle formula for sine of a double angle. And lastly, I'm just going to give you this one too. Here's the double angle formula for the tan of a double angle. 2 tan of theta over 1 minus tan squared of theta. Okay, now there's the formulas. Don't worry, you do not have to memorize those. When you take the test on this eventually, I will have a piece of paper printed up, boom, here's the formulas. The problems are you using the formulas. I only have one example here, and you're going to have 4 problems for homework. So here's